What lessons did you learn from 2020? In this video, I'm going to share with you the lessons that I've taken away from 2020 as I look forward into the new year, 2021, and everything that it holds. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Abigail, and on this channel I talk about all things related to personal branding, from exploring your own personal confidence to expanding your knowledge and your tech toolkit, all the way through to expressing your personal brand with confidence. So if you're a woman who knows that her spark can ignite a fire of massive positive impact, then you're in the right place. Last week I did a Facebook Live over in the CAFINNATED community group, and I shared a process and a practice that I like to do at the end of every year. And it is a reflection process to look back on the year that has been and to acknowledge the growth and the lessons that have come from that year, to set us up to start the new year on a solid footing. Most of us, I think, can agree that 2020 shook the boat. It really shook the confidence out of a lot of us, but then at the same time it really instilled a lot of confidence because we realized how resilient we actually are. And so if you haven't yet done a reflection process to finalize 2020 and to look forward into 2021, then the link down below to that Facebook Live is in the description, and I highly encourage you to go and watch it and follow along and answer the questions and do the exercises for yourself. You'll find it extremely enlightening. And in this video, I want to share with you some of the lessons that I came away with as a result of doing that exercise. And perhaps you can relate to some of these lessons, and perhaps it makes you realize how much you've actually learned over the past year and how resilient you actually are. So here's the things that I learned in 2020. First off, I learned that I'm actually more of an introvert than I realized. Lockdown has forced us to become more insular, and I've actually been quite okay with it. Yes, I've missed my family and I've missed the interaction with my clients, my photography clients, but I've really enjoyed my own company, and I've really enjoyed the company of my husband, and we've been quite happy, just the two of us. I learned how important it is that we have a vision, because I've had this vision, and that reflection that you can see in the window, I've had a vision of that view, not that particular view, but a view like that. I've had that as my vision for probably the last 5 years, to be able to sit on a patio or lie on my bed, look out the window, look out and see mountains in the distance. And here I am in real life. It is so important to have a vision. I've learned in 2020 that technology helps us make things happen, and it helps us in so many ways. I've always been a bit of a tech geek, always will be, love it, and I'm thrilled that, like the world has caught up, that my clients have caught up, that my community has caught up, and we can do so much to the point that as a photographer I cannot meet people in person anymore, but that doesn't mean I can't still do photo shoots. Thanks to technology, I can do remote photo shoots, and that's something I learned in 2020. Thanks to technology, I get to speak to my 96-year-old nan several times a week, and we've been able to do that for the duration of 2020, while what otherwise would have been a very lonely year for her, lonelier than most because she's at home on her own, we've been able to chat with her on an almost daily basis thanks to technology. In 2020 I learned that curiosity moves you forward and courage moves you forward. You have to have that curiosity, that inquiring mind to try and discover what's possible, and then be courageous enough to go out and look for it. I also learned that clarity breeds confidence, that having clarity about what you want, clarity about what steps need to be taken, clarity about everything that you do, when you've got that clarity, when you can define it, you can do something with it, you can make changes. But without clarity, you cannot affect any kind of change. You cannot improve anything if you don't first have that clarity. Clarity comes first. because clarity is directly related to awareness, and no change happens without awareness first. In 2020, I learned that imperfectly executed is better than perfectly incomplete. And my prime example of this is I launched an online program, which at the beginning of 2020 was not even on my radar. In fact, I was quite against running online programs. I had built a membership site because I had convinced myself that I wasn't an online program kind of person. And as a result of 2020, the idea was sparked. In November, I launched that program, and I discovered through launching it very, very imperfectly that impact can still be made when you embrace the imperfection of your creation, when you're willing to share your imperfect creation. You have impact, and from that point you have a foundation on which to evolve and refine your creation. And as I sit here now, yesterday I launched the second round of my online program, and already the creation has evolved and grown and refined. But I would not be at this point had I not been willing to launch something and to put something out into the world that I had created that was imperfect in every sense of the word. If I'd waited for it to be perfect, I would never have launched it. I learned that when you get out of your routine, that's when you create. So you have to unplug and extract yourself from your daily routine, your daily busyness, so that you can create the space to create. You have to create the space to create. In 2020, I learned to bake bread. In fact, both my husband and I learned to bake bread, and we haven't bought bread in about 9 months because we just have homemade bread now. I learned that travel is a gift and a privilege, and is certainly something that I think a lot of us took for granted until it was taken away from us. Normally we would go to the UK in July of every year because that's when it's my grandmother's birthday. So this year we weren't able to, and we had to be satisfied with a FaceTime call on her 96th birthday. Hopefully, not likely, but hopefully in 2021 we get to be with her to celebrate her 97th birthday. I learned that prioritizing self-care should be a priority. In 2020 I came the closest to personal burnout than I think I've ever been before, just because I didn't do that. And so that's definitely something that I learned in 2020, how important it is to unplug and to take time for yourself, and to have, no matter how small the gesture, but have self-care as a top daily priority. I learned how important it is to prioritize what is right over what you've always done. This rang really true on Christmas Day. So we were meant to spend it with my parents, as we do every single year, and do all the festivities and all the things and have a jolly old time. But given the pandemic, we actually told them not to come and visit us out here in the countryside, because it was what was the right thing to do. As hard and as upsetting as that was to do, I know that it was the right thing to do. Finally, I learned that fierce independence is both a good thing and a bad thing. And while I love my fierce independence, I learned that I'm inherently an explorer, and that means going off on my own and doing my own thing. Not conforming is a big thing. It's a big theme in my life in general, and it became crystal clear to me in 2020. But the flip side of that is that I forget to ask for help. It's necessary to go back to the point of prioritizing self-care. Part of that is knowing when to ask for help and then actually asking for help. So that's what I learned in 2020. It was a big year. Lots of good things, lots of not so good things, but all round I wouldn't change it, I don't think, because if I think of who I was at the beginning of 2020 versus who I am now at the beginning of 2021, my goodness, the growth has been incredible. The expansion has been incredible. And as bumpy a ride as it has been, it's been such a worthwhile journey. So that's it. I hope that you found my lessons inspiring, and I would love to hear from you. What are the lessons that you've learned from the good days and from the bad days? What are your top lessons from 2020? Share them in the comments down below, because I'd really like to acknowledge and join you in acknowledging how valuable those lessons are, regardless of the circumstances that led to them. And if you want to do the exercise that generated this list of lessons for me, then head to the Facebook Live and watch the replay. The link is down below in the description, and give yourself that gift, that self-care practice of doing the exercise for yourself. That's it for this video. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button. Also hit the notifications button so that you get notified when I post new videos. And may 2021 be the year that you put your expansion to good use and you begin to express yourself in the most aligned and authentic way than you ever have before. And may it be the year that you have the biggest impact in your own life and the lives of the people that you're here to serve. Hello and welcome to... My name is Abigail and I'm... Hey there, welcome. My name is Abigail and I'm really playing... Hey there, welcome, and hey there. And so if you haven't yet done a reflection exercise and you'd like to give it a go, then drop the link. No.